Adolf Hitler by Yusuf Ahmed. This is my report on the refugee project our class is doing. So we're going to be doing these in 3 questions. 3, 2, 1, go! Question 1. Why did Hitler hate Jews? Hitler did not invent the hatred of Jews. Quote, Anne Frank House. Anti-Semitism wasn't something new when Hitler came up. In fact, Jews in Europe were discriminated since the Middle Ages for religious reasons. Therefore, Jewish people had to convert or not do certain actions for their religion. Even if Jews did convert to different religions, they were still considered different because of their bloodline. It's not clear on Hitler's anti-Semitism, though. Historians think that Hitler's hatred came up in hindsight. 2 Austrian politicians immensely influenced Hitler's thought process. First was George Richard von Schonauer, a German nationalist. Second, the Viennese mayor Karl Lueger. Hitler learned how anti-Semitism could be successful, along with social reforms. In Mein Kampf, a book that Hitler wrote while he was in prison, Hitler praised Lueger as the greatest German mayor of all times. When Hitler came to power in 1933, he used similar ideas to his law. Hitler's hatred for the Jews came to him at an early age, mostly when he was painting in Vienna. One of his paintings was an offense to Jews, though, offending one of his biggest buyers, a Jew, Samuel Morgenstern. So just because there isn't much information to go off of, it's certain that these thoughts came to Hitler at an early age. Question number 2. How did Hitler rise to power? It is not truth that matters, but victory, quote, Adolf Hitler. It all started in 1919, when Hitler joined the German Workers' Party. The name was changed in 1920 to the National Socialist German Worker Party, commonly known as the Nazi Party, though. It was more formed in post-World War I. Hitler's rise can be considered to end in March 1933 after the Reichstag adopted the Enabling Act of 1933 in that month. President Paul von Hindenburg had already chose Hitler as Chancellor on January 30, 1933. Hitler's rise came in the early years of the party, considered as one of the best speakers of the party, and he said to make him leader or he will never return. Come November of 1923, and the later release of his book Mein Kampf, English, My Struggle, I realized I didn't do a translation, made Hitler gain wide popularity, which meant he would be getting closer. It's the March 1933 elections, and no single party secured a majority. Hitler needed to obtain the vote of the Central Party and conservatives in the Reichstag to obtain the powers he had been longing to obtain. He called on Reichstag members to vote for the Enabling Act on March 24, 1933. Hitler granted powers temporarily by the completion of the act. Hitler wouldn't completely assume full dictatorial power until after the death of Hindenburg in August 1934. Thereafter, Hitler gained dictatorship of the new Nazi Germany. Question number 3. What could the Allies have done to stop Hitler's actions against Jews? For us, this is an emergency as serious as the war itself. Quote, Franklin D. Roosevelt on the bombing of Pearl Harbor. There isn't a lot of information to go off on what could be avoided or what could stop World War II, because one thing that was in the way to stop the war from happening was the Treaty of Versailles, the treaty that stopped the First World War. The first detailed report was found in 1944 when 2 Jews escaped a concentration camp in Auschwitz. But the Allies didn't act because they were worried on a few things. For one thing, it was near impossible to reach the camp. But Seeing that they bombed near areas to the camp showed that they could reach it, but they were worried that it wouldn't slow down the Nazis, but divert forces to take down airmen. The Allies had finally decided that the only way they could rescue Jews was to win the war. The fact that bombing a concentration camp being a successful mission is still an open question.